Hello and welcome back to NA Turbo. So it's been a little while since I've done a video. This is just a quick one actually to introduce a new fleet member. If you can guess what it is yet, probably from the rear light. So this has joined the fleet today. It's a 54 plate MG ZS based on the 25 bubble platform. But this one's quite unusual in that it's not a petrol, it's actually the old L series diesel. And this one's got a few bits on we'll explain when I do a full-on video in it, but just really wanted to introduce it. So this car's basically come around because, as I mentioned in a few videos, my dad's 08 Astra's not very well, and he wanted something that he could just sort of bomb around until summer when he can fix it. And also the Jag hiding over there is that's my daily at the moment, is very expensive to run and tax, so I also wanted something a bit more frugal to nip around in until I sort out what I'm actually going to do with the Jag. But spoiler alert, it might actually be leaving the fleet, but there'll be more on that. But yeah, so just having sort of a quick walk around it. It's another eBay special, so we saw this come up a couple of weekends ago. It's done about 98,000 miles. It's on a 54 plate, so it's actually, those of you who know about Rovers in the last bit, it's actually in the Project Drive era, so we'll do an in-depth video into what that actually means. But it was basically the Rovers' last ditch attempt to cut costs even and save any money wherever they could. So yeah, there's some quite interesting things they've taken off and put in place that obviously save a few pence here and there, because at this late stage with the Phoenix 4, that does sound like a criminal gang, because let's face it, they were, or should have been, allegedly, officer. But yeah, it was a case of trying to save as much money so they could preserve the business. Ho ho. So yeah, it's in a gorgeous pearlescent stroke metallic red. I do forget the name of the colour, but we'll do that in a bit of a video as well. So it's done 98,000. This one's actually had a few bits done to it. So these were 113 PS as standard. This one's actually had a sympathetic tuning box on it. So don't know what it's actually running. Boost wise, it's running about 15 PSI, which is probably somewhere around the 130 brake mark, but I can definitely say this thing flies. And I want sort of this version of the diesel because it isn't the BMW one, which was fabled in the larger cars, and having had one, or Ryan's had one in the past, it wasn't a reliable engine. It did atrocious on miles per gallon, and yeah, it just wasn't. It was kind of, you thought, did BMW do it to kind of make sure, you know, no Rovers were going to compete with their cars? I don't know, but yeah, this is the old L series engine, which derives way back into a Perkins diesel from the days of the Maestro and the Montego. So it's clattery, but reliable. It doesn't have a DPF or any of the garbage emissions junk that's on modern ones that basically makes a diesel just no point in having it, because they turn into from a reliable frugal car into something that is just born to fail basically. But it's had some work on it. There's still some work to do. So you see it's got some rust around the front wings there. The wheels are in really good nick when we sort of look around it, because trudging through its history, which I'm still doing, it's actually had real refurb. In fact, the car's been quite well looked after. It looks like its first owner was a company, and then it went into private hands, and just as late as 2019, it's had a lot of work done on the engine. It looks like it's had an engine top end rebuild, so there's bills for that, and it comes into a region of a couple of grand's worth of work. I won't tell you what we paid for it, but it wasn't anywhere near that. So it was quite good. These things should do 50 plus miles to the gallon easily. And I can say it's had a quarter of a diesel in for picking it up from about 20 miles today, and it doesn't seem to have used any. So not only is it quite punchy, it seems to be really sort of frugal as well. But time will tell as it sort of run it a bit more. I will do sort of some interior and under the bonnet for you, but we will do a proper full look around. It has had the usual welding. done by the previous owner as well, and somebody has decided to smooth the MG tailgate badge off it, but I'll open it up and we'll have a little look inside. So welcome back, folks. Here we are. Just thought I'd do you a quick little spin of the inside of the car. So welcome to Project Drive dashboards, where yeah, over to the left hand side there, where there is now a glove box, there was airbags, but Project Drive stripped them out. But yeah, I'll do some research and we'll have a bit of another video on what Project Drive was and what it actually meant for Rover. But you know, the seats and everything is pretty good in it. The dash pod up there is sort of leaning to it, the fact that it's got a tuning box on it. But researching the guy that did the tuning box on it, it wasn't one of these all out for speed. It was a combination of a bit more oomph but more economy. So you've got, you know, usual equipment like electric mirrors, electric front windows. It has got remote central lock-in. And you go into the very Project Drive centre dashboard, which is yeah, interesting. It has got aircon, but it's not working at the moment, so might have a little look into that. But yeah, if we pan you back under the bonnet, we could take you and show you the majesty of the old L-Series engine. So they are covered up by plastic somewhat, but we were just having a look at it and it's very clean, so it does show that it looks like this engine's had some work done to it in the past, and that sort of tallies with the bills we've got as well. But we'll go into a bit more detail on that later on. But yeah, this is the next member of the fleet for now, and hopefully it'll serve as well. If I can claw it back off my dad, I'll probably take it up to the Hubnut Social at the Motorist in Leeds, which is next month, I believe. So you might see it there if you go to that sort of thing. It'd certainly be a lot cheaper than I took old Hannibal last year. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Do like and subscribe, and hopefully in the next coming weeks I'll have a bit more in-depth video on this Rover for you. Thanks.